Late last week, the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia ruled that Donald Trump's tariffs are illegal. Most of the tariffs are, in fact, illegal. They cannot stand. Only Congress can do that, which they said in their ruling. Your tariffs are done for. Until, of course, we're actually not going to kill your tariffs completely. We're going to let you keep them in place as you appeal it to the Supreme Court. But then after that, your tariffs are probably totally illegal. So it's a ruling that, of course, damaged Trump, but it's also a ruling that even the court was like, but we're not going to enforce it. Which might actually be a good thing because Donald Trump already announced that he was not going to abide by it anyway. So, everybody wins. The public gets a good court ruling against Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump doesn't even have to abide by the court ruling. So everybody somehow got what they wanted, and that's a horrible day for the rule of law in the United States. But nevertheless, even though he doesn't have to abide by the court ruling just yet, Trump still went completely and totally insane on Truth Social saying this: "All tariffs are still in effect. Today, a highly partisan appeals court incorrectly said that our tariffs should be removed. But they know the United States of America will win in the end. If these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make us financially weak, and we have to be strong. The USA will no longer tolerate enormous trade deficits and unfair tariffs and non-tariff trade barriers imposed by other countries, friend or foe, that undermine our manufacturers, farmers, and everyone else." I'm going to put a pin in it right there and come back to it. But here's the thing. First and foremost, the dollar is losing value across the globe. We are at risk of no longer becoming the #1 global currency. Manufacturing is down in the United States. Your tariffs have had the opposite effect on it. Farmers are losing money left and right because of your trade war being driven into bankruptcy. And of course, they're losing their staff because you're deporting all of them. So the two specific industries that you mentioned are the two that are being hit hardest by your trade war. Americans are paying higher prices. Companies told us on their earnings calls last week that they're going to raise prices even more. We're all getting screwed. So while you sit there and you tell us that everything is great and, oh my God, we're so wonderful, the exact opposite is true. Everybody you say you're helping, you're hurting more than anybody else. The dollar is getting weaker. You are doing the exact opposite of what you are bragging about. And then he continues. "If allowed to stand, this decision would literally destroy the United States of America. At the start of this Labor Day weekend, we should all remember that tariffs are the best tool to help our workers and support companies that produce great made-in-America products. For many years, tariffs were allowed to be used against us by our uncaring and unwise politicians. Now, with the help of the United States Supreme Court, we will use them to the benefit of our nation and make America rich, strong, and powerful again. Thank you for your attention to this matter." So you caught that, right? You caught what he's doing with the signal to the U.S. Supreme Court. That's who this message was for. Even though it's everything he said is a lie. Literally everything he said is a lie, other than the tariffs are still in effect. Because they are. But he is signaling to the Supreme Court, you have to do this. You have to save me. And he's telling his base that if the Supreme Court doesn't do that, then basically they're destroying our country. That's a signal to them, be ready. Be ready. And we all know what that means. So there you have it. That's Donald Trump's dog whistle to his base. It's his bullhorn to the Supreme Court. And it, of course, is a financial death sentence for American citizens. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.